Hi, guys. Welcome to part one of the testimony series. The main reason why it's a series and not a one video thing is that there's so much that has happened, and I just need to find a way to kind of like lead you into it. So it's going to be broken into bits and pieces. It's been a 5-year journey from ever since I stepped into this country. I am in Toronto, and for those who don't even know my name is Parisa Tewia, and I don't even know where to start, but we'll just go with the flow. And I pray that God leads me, and that as I share this story, it will encourage, uplift, motivate anybody that feels down, anybody that feels sorrowful, anybody that feels hopeless. This is for you. Before we begin, I'd just like to say a short word of prayer. Abba Father, I thank you for today, and I thank you for this journey. As I'm about to share the story, as I'm about to share my experience, as I'm about to share all that you have done for me, I ask that you will speak through me, and I will decrease and you will increase, and at the end of it all glory and honor will be to your name. I thank you and I bless you in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. So, I feel like I've been running away from this for like forever. And I am someone who writes a lot. I've been writing sermons, I've been journaling, I've been doing a lot of behind the scenes work, and I thought it was all for me, all for my growth, all for my journey. But now I've come to understand that like everything I was writing, yes, some of it was for me, but some of it was also for you guys. So this here is just a portion of the things I have gathered over the years, just a portion, and I'm just going to share bits of it with you guys, just a look into my world. So let's start with this book. This is where most of my testimonies lie. The year 2018. In 2018, I just felt like, that was my last year of university. I needed to get my things in order, so I just got a book. This book was given to me by my sister, Annika. And this was what I wrote. I don't know if you can zoom in properly. So it was 1st January 2018, and I wrote down my goals for the year. And I don't think I asked for much, to be honest. Like, the main things I wanted was to finish school, enroll in a master's degree, and to take a vacation. Those were like my main goals. Like, that's all I really, really wanted. I had some other things, but those were the main three. And as I wrote this down, I'm like, God, like, I'm willing to put in the work. I'm willing to do what it takes to let these come to fruition. So the first goal was to graduate in October, right? So I'm like, okay, I've picked all my courses. I've done all that needs to be done. Like, I'm preparing for this convocation in October. I had even started like my applications for masters as well. And I was just set. A few months into the school year, I started hearing rumors that, York is going on strike. Oh, for you if you don't know, I go to York University, Strike Central. And I started hearing rumors. And to be honest, like, at that point in time, I didn't really care if a strike was going to happen because I had some tests coming up and your girl was not ready. Like, I was not ready. So I was like, okay, if the strike happens, that's fine. Like, I just need a week off. Like, I had spoken to some of my profs and they were like, it's something that can be resolved, So I was, preparing for the strike. I was even saying the little prayers. I'm like, God, I could really lead this break and all of that. March 2nd, I think it was March 2nd. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you're a York student and you went through this. But March 2nd, strike happened. The first week, I'm like, I'm just going to take a rest. I will study. And the first week happened. I rested, all right, but I did not study. Like, you all know procrastination. I did not study. And so I was praying that the strike will prolong for another week so I can use the other week to study for my upcoming tests. And to God be the glory. The strike prolonged. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get back on track, and I'm going to be ready and then do my courses and be ready for my tests. And fast forward 3 months, or even more than 3 months, but 3 months down the line, we are still on strike. I was broke because I used to work on campus, and strike means no students. No students means no one to help, meaning I'm not needed. So that's how I just went from here to here. I was broke. I was fed up. I didn't want to be on strike anymore. I was looking for jobs at that point. Even then, like, I was still hadn't lost faith because I was still on track for my master's. I had gone for an interview and it went well. Like, all I needed to do was finish my degree and to write the GMAT. Like, everything was still on track. So I'm like, okay, God, we can still make this work. If the strike is over by June, I can still finish my courses, take summer school, and graduate. Boom. Like, the plan is still there, you know? We are still on track. Summer hits, the strike is still happening, and my courses for the summer were cancelled. So at this point, I'm just like, I'm really not graduating. Like, I'm not finishing school. This is tears. You're not seeing it. I'm not finishing school, and I'm just like, okay, this is beyond my control. But like, God, I wrote down the goals. Like, you and me, we saw it as I was writing it down. Let me give you guys a reminder. That was the first thing on my list, to graduate. So what's going on? And the silence you hear right now is what I heard from God. Nothing. Like, he was nowhere to be seen. Hello, hi. I'm just like, Jesus, where you day? He was nowhere. So I was mad. Like, I was mad. I was mad because the one time I set resolutions, the one time I set goals, the one time I pen it down, like, it just wasn't happening for me. So yeah, my school was on strike. The masters had to be put on hold because clearly I don't have a degree. What am I going to do? I have to pack. So I packed myself. And then what happened? Oh, I even had bed bugs. Like, so this part I'm not going to include in a testimony. I'll probably write a blog post about it, so watch out for that. But that's just beside the point. I digress. And one thing God did for me that I said I was going to share, but I just never really did. Throughout the strike period, I was looking for a job because, as I said, I didn't have any jobs. I didn't have any hours, I didn't have any hours on campus. And it was hard. It was hard. Like, I wasn't even getting callbacks. Like, just like, everyone was dry. Like, everything was dry. So I was just applying to random jobs. First of all, you know, when you're applying for jobs, you start with like them. You are picky, you are choosy, you know, and then get to a point where it's like, oh, open waters. Whatever will take me, you know. I gotta eat, feed me. Oh, Jesus. Anyways, so I applied for some jobs. Like, I didn't even keep track at that point. Like, anybody that calls me. And then in 1 week, I got an interview from TD, from City of Toronto, and I really wanted to work at TD. But TD was ready to have me a month after. That's when the training was going to start. And as I mentioned, I was broke. I needed something to feed me now. And the City of Toronto job was nothing in my field, but it was starting soon. And at that point, I didn't even realize, like, you know, working at City of Toronto was that good or that, like, you know, I was just like, I wanted to work at TD. So I spoke to my dad and he was like, I should go for the City of Toronto one. And unbeknownst to me, I got the internship with the City of Toronto. So I didn't go for the TD interview because we were both on the same day. That's how God does things. On the same day, same time. There was no way I could make it for both, so I had to choose. And I got the City of Toronto job, and I had the privilege of working in the IT department in the office of the deputy CIO. And when I tell you I learned so much, like, it's another testimony in itself, because if I had finished school, I wouldn't have been there, and I did not finish school and I had that opportunity. But that's just a mini one of the mega one I'm talking about, you know? This is just a look. So yeah, that's a mini one. So I just want to thank God for that. Anywho, so here I am on my internship. I'm working. Everything was picking up slowly. School was still out, but when they resumed, I couldn't even care less because I'm not finishing. So I'm like, I'm gonna take your degree. I'll come when I'm ready, you know. I'm working. So fall had arrived. It was September, the fall semester. Fall to September was where everything just started to unravel. They didn't unravel like that was like a you know, like when I trace it back, that's where I can find it, but that's where everything just started to you get what I mean. So I had the option of whether to work or to go back to school because that's what I was presented with, and I'm like, I didn't have enough funds at that point to comfortably go back to school full time. And I don't know if you guys understand what it feels like to not have financial stability. Not that like I didn't have a place to sleep or I couldn't eat or that, but like coming from the security of my parents' home back in Ghana, like not having to think of groceries, not having to think of basically what I will wear, like just knowing that everything was provided for, and then to come to a country where you don't I can't even talk at this point. So from coming to a country where you've never lived and being on your own, having to think of what you're going to eat the next day, because man, if you don't cook, you're not eating. Bills, like everywhere you turn, bills, like everywhere you go, and it's so annoying, but it's made me who I am today. But when I tell you that like having to deal with school and having to deal with life was a whole hurdle, or I'm still mastering it, but it's not easy. And then I have my siblings. I'm the oldest over here, and having to take care of them as well, aside everything. When I say that I was presented with the two and I decided to work, this is the backstory behind it, because I knew I needed the money and I was not finishing in October anyways. So I'm going to finish in 2019. I might as well capitalize on this and figure everything out the next year. So that's what happened. And so I decided to work. Prior to that, I had gone to visit my advisor on campus to see if everything was okay with my courses so that I can still be set to finish in June 2019. So everything was fine, everything is good. Vibely, we're fine. I'm like, okay, I'm set, everything is good. I went back to work. So, you know the heat of this country, the heat is so annoying, it's humid. It's time. It's hot. And oh God, I decided to sleep on the floor one evening. I don't know who sent me, but I was that hot, and you know, AC is a luxury. It's a fan on them boy. So I had to sleep on the floor. I woke up the next day and I had a pain in my side, but I'm like, oh yo, like I didn't sleep properly, so next time position yourself well on the floor. And I just let it go. That time my mom was visiting from Ghana. Sometimes during the summer she comes and she was visiting, so she was like, I should go to the clinic. But I'm like, mommy, it's just like a side pain, like it's not that deep. It's okay. So she went to Ghana, she said her piece, she blasted me, and I went to see a doctor. I went to the clinic on campus just so I can prove to my mom that it wasn't anything serious. And the doctor was like, I probably just bruised myself and I should just take anti-inflammatory pills. So that's what I started doing. I was taking the pills, and she had to go to Ghana during that time, so she went. And then my father came, he also came to visit. So this is like late September. So when he came, I was still complaining about the side pain, and he was like, I should go see a doctor and check it out. So I went, and then another doctor said the same thing. She was like, there's nothing they can say about it. It just seems to be a bruise or something internal, or I didn't sleep well, or so I got another set of pills, and then I was taking those, and it got to a point I was even wondering, like, is it my bed, is it my sleeping posture? Like, I don't understand. It just came from nowhere, and it started from when I slept on the floor. So honestly, I just pushed it to the side because it wasn't an excruciating pain. It was more of like uncomfortable pain, and it was just more so like it came on and off. So it wasn't impeding my everyday activities. Like, it was just a pain that was just nagging. So I was going to work as normal, and what happened one day, I chipped my tooth like randomly, and that took me back. So I went to see the dentist, and then I went again to the clinic. So I'm like, let me just pass by the clinic. And I don't even remember what happened then, but still, no one had any clue what was going to happen. One Friday after church service, like, legit, I couldn't even laugh. It was so painful. The pain had spread to like my right chest area, my shoulder. It was so painful. So my boyfriend suggested that we go to the emergency room, and we did that. So he took me, and then we went to the emergency room, and it was just a long wait. That's what I remember. It was a really, really long wait. And I remember they first put me on fast track. I went to the fast track, and after I explained everything to them, they were like, no, you're not supposed to be here. Go to the other side. So I went to the other side, and the doctor finally came. We did x-rays, and the doctor was like, I don't see anything wrong. And this was like after 5 hours of waiting. So I was so like, what is this? Like, why can't they figure this thing out? Like, I'm not lying. Just because there's nothing physically showing doesn't mean that I'm not in pain. But they gave me, I think he injected me with some sort of painkiller, so I was relieved, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm just going to go home and sleep this off. The next day, I got a call, and this was another doctor from the same hospital I went to, and they were like, there's something weird in my x-ray. It was something that was missed, so they're going to refer me for a follow-up appointment, and that he's going to transfer me. And the appointment was set up for 2 weeks from the time that I got the call. So I'm like, okay, if it was that serious, like, we would be rushing me to the hospital. So I just like brushed it to the side, right? And the doctor was even like, it might be something normal, but it's just out of the ordinary, or something. I would say normal, but something. I toughed it out. I had the pain, and I just went for the appointment when the time was up. It was the lung specialist. So when I got there, I'm like, why am I here to see a lung specialist? Like, I'm talking about pain on my side, like more of like my rib area. Why am I? Okay, well, anyway. So I saw the lung specialist, and he was like, this is what he told me. Honestly, he doesn't see why or how this x-ray connects to the pain I'm talking about, but he would like to look further because it's clearly not a normal thing in the x-ray. When he showed it to me, I was just like, I couldn't even see what he was seeing, but I'm just like, you know what, as long as we're going to find answers, I'm down. And we did. So he scheduled a CT scan, a bone scan, and blood work, and as usual, it was spun out like weeks. So like, I would come like every 2 weeks or every week just to have a test done. And mind you, I was still working, so I had to take time off for all these hospital visits, and they were the most amazing people ever. They were so understanding. Like, God bless them so much. Anyway, so I did do my tests, but on the week of my CAT scan, this time I had done the bone scan and the blood work. But the week of my CAT scan, like, I couldn't breathe. I would run out of breath from just doing the most basic things, and I just couldn't understand. I'm just like, either I'm very out of shape or there's something going on, but I chose very out of shape because it wasn't a hot girl summer then. I was very out of shape. So I was just like toughing things out. I just didn't want to panic unless there was something to panic about. So I remember, like, even when I lied down, I felt like I was drowning. Like, I really couldn't breathe. Like, I had to sit up or lean against the wall. Like, sleeping was a struggle, man. But, we made it through. I went to do a CAT scan, and then the doctor called me. I missed his call, actually. He left me a voicemail. And he's like, my results were very concerning, and he would like to take further action. Who leaves a voicemail like this? And it was a Friday evening, and I think he was either off, or I just had no way of reaching his office. His office was closed for the weekend, but he had said that he was going to be on call. I was stressed. I'm like, what voicemail is this? And I knew I wasn't feeling well that week, so I'm like, Jesus, am I dying? Am I dying? That was my thought. And I'm so young to die. Gee. I was just like, everything was just running through my mind, and I just like closed off. Instead of opening my mouth to tell people, I just like closed off, and I just kept things to myself. The next day, I was supposed to go and visit two family friends of mine. God bless their souls. I love them so much. And I didn't go. I browned them, and they came to my house. And one of them is a nurse. So she was like, we have to track this doctor down. He mentioned he's on call. She called the hospital, and, bada boom, bada bum, got him on the phone. And he's like, I have fluid build up in my right lung. He doesn't know where it's from, because when I saw him, when I had taken the x-ray, there was nothing there. So for it to build up in about a month and a bit, he was concerned, like, what is causing the build-up, and was that the cause of the pain I was feeling? And he was like, are you feeling shortness of breath? I'm like, yes. And I'm like, Jesus, so it's not like I'm out of shape, there's something happening. It was good and bad news, but at that point, I remember tears filling my eyes, and I felt so sad, because I'm like, where is this from? Oh, I forgot to tell you. So my friend was getting married that December. Prior to all this, oh Jesus, that's how I almost forgot. Prior to all this, I was planning to go to Ghana in December. And she's a very good friend of mine. She was my roommate. Like, I've known her for years, 6-7 years now. Actually, since 9 years, like, as of now. And she was getting married, and I've always wanted to be a bridesmaid, and Jehovah has made my dreams come true. I'm going to be a bridesmaid. I was amped. And I had two dreams where I missed the wedding. It was like I was there, but either they could not see me or I lie. The procession began without me, and I was there. And I didn't understand, like, I was beefing with the bridesmaids in my dream, and I didn't get it. And the next one, I was legit late for the wedding. Like, when I was ready to go, they had already left to go to the church. And me, I was rather telling my friend to pray for her wedding, because I didn't get it, and I had those dreams like consecutively. So I told her to pray concerning her wedding. And this was before my health began to deteriorate, but that's what happened. And that's just a side note. So back to the fluid in the lung thing. So the doctor is like, I have to drain it. He has to drain the fluid, and also he would want to do like a couple more tests to find out what's happening. So all that basically was test. We need to figure out what is going on. Basically, you're not well, take it easy, and yeah, we'll figure it out. So I spoke to him on a Saturday. My tests were booked for Tuesday and Thursday respectively. That's how much he rushed it, because I was like, Doc, like, I'm going to Ghana in December. This is October. We need to fix the health before then. That was my only qualm. We go and drain the fluid, and it was the most painful experience I've felt. They pushed a needle through my back to drain it, and I don't know, the numbness that they injected me with, it didn't set, because the pain, oh Jehovah. I remember, like, when it was painful. And Oh my God, like once they drained it, I could breathe. I felt good. I'm like, I'm healed. I am healed. I felt it. I'm like, I'm healed. And we did more tests. So the doctor was like, he's going to like do more analysis. But I'm like, bro, I feel good. I can breathe, I can move. The pain had gone and I was fine. This man calls me and he's like, this was when, I think November, we're in November now. And he's like, I'm still not sure what's wrong with you and I don't feel comfortable with you going to Ghana in December. And I'm like, we have 1 month. God is going to turn things around for me. I'm going to Ghana in December. No questions. And I was feeling okay, like I was feeling good at that point. So he still wanted to run more tests, but at this point he's like, I should do a lung biopsy. I didn't even understand what that meant, and whatever, I'm just like, you do you, but as long as I'm going to Ghana, that's fine. So he scheduled it, and when they called me, they booked it for January. Like, clearly I'm not dying, because January, you know, I can make it and go to the wedding and come back. That was the whole thing. So I toughed it out, and to be honest, like, I was still in pain, but I wanted everybody around me to think I'm fine so that I can travel. And so I kept keeping things to myself and kept toughing it out. And so the biopsy was scheduled for January 15th, I remember. So my plan was to go to Ghana in December, but come back in time to have the biopsy. And one fateful Sunday, 23rd December 2018, I was on my way to church. Anybody who knows me that when I'm going to church, my phone is on silent. Like, on Sunday, if you want to talk to me, call me after 2, because you will not get me. That's just my life. But that Sunday, my phone was on vibration. And I remember sitting in the car and I got a call. And I'm looking at the phone and I'm just like, I don't know this number, but I pick it up. So this day, I will understand why I picked it up. Okay guys, so that's part 1 of the testimony series. It's titled His Ways Are Not Our Ways. So as you can see from what I said from 2018, I had my set of goals and none of them came to pass. Like, nothing happened the way I expected it to. But that is just part 1 of it, and at this point I'm actually thankful for the way things happened, because I wouldn't be here if not for how my story took a turn. So what to look forward in the next episode is how I handled it, what the doctor told me after I pick up the call, and the series of events that happened afterwards. Like, it's nothing compared to what I was expecting, but I hope you like, you subscribe, and you share, because there's so much more I have to say, and I really believe God is doing something with this. Thank you, and I'll see you again soon.